Ryan Reaves spoke today for the first time, I believe, since his hit on Darnell Nurse. Obviously, he was given a 5-game suspension. Nurse had his comments, clearly was very unhappy with what happened, and rightfully so. Tyler and I spoke about it, of like, Reeves, as an aggressive as a player he has a reputation of being like a pretty good guy off the ice. And the fact he went to apologize to Nurse shows his character a little bit too. And in the moment, I think you could recognize that like his intent wasn't to knock Darnell Nurse out of the game like that. But this is what Ryan Reaves said today to the media. Mark Masters was the one who had some of the comments too, and also Luke Fox. The only truth that he spoke was, I was going out there to inflict pain. That's a fact, and that's not going to stop. But I'm going to continue to do it legally. Yeah, I'm going to keep playing hard, if not harder now. I'm going to keep burying guys. He continued on to say, when you get caught by someone, this was from Nurse's comments, when you get caught by somebody, I think you're entitled to your opinion, and that's fine. But I think my 900 games and however many thousands of hits I have speak for themselves. I play a physical game every night, and I've been doing it for 15 years, and I've only had a couple of suspensions. I don't think he's wrong when he.
I don't hate that comment at all.
Like, I think that's totally fair what he's saying. He's just like, what? It's kind of how he's built his role. That's why he's still around in the NHL. A lot of the players who play his style of like fighting and everything are gone, and like I wouldn't want him on the Oilers by any means, but clearly someone still sees the value in him in Toronto. And what do you make of these comments?
I don't know. I feel like he's still sort of glossing over it a little bit. He's giving the PR answer that you'd expect Ryan Reaves to come and say at the end of a 5-game suspension. He's not going to come out and be like, oh, yeah, you're right. You know me. I'm a tough guy in the NHL, and every once in a while I get a big rush of adrenaline and I want to end someone's career. I want to put them in the hospital. He's not going to go out and say something like that, nor do I think that's necessarily what his motivation is as a player. I think he's being somewhat candid here. I think, yeah, he does want to go out there and lay a guy out, throw a big hit, inflict some pain, go in on a big forecheck, hit a D-man, get him worried to go back, make his night a little bit more difficult. That is his game. But again, I think he is sort of downplaying the whole thing. Yeah, he hasn't received a tremendous amount of suspensions given how long he's been in the league. But I don't know. You go back and look at some of the things he's been disciplined for, and there were some pretty nasty hits. So this is a player who, yes, does play within the rule books a lot of the time, but he has proved that he's going to cross the line.
Yeah, I suppose when you play his style too, it's bound to happen, isn't it? And I think we're all in agreement, and the people who think otherwise, I think are just honestly completely wrong. I don't think there's really an opinion on the hit. I think it's pretty straightforward. He hit him right to the head. Whether Nurse had his head down or not, he hit him to the head. It is an illegal play. Nurse was injured from the play. And we had an interesting question in our mailbag, and I don't remember what you said, but it was the question was, and I'm paraphrasing it a little bit, but basically the player who was injured, that cap should be put, like Nurse's cap, for example, is on 9.25, if you didn't know.
Never heard it mentioned, actually. I wasn't aware.
Since he was injured and the Oilers couldn't put him on LTIR, didn't need to, they should be able to get that cap with no penalty. Was another question? Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
What was your response to it? Mine was like, I just feel like teams could totally play within that.
Yeah.
Even worse than they do already. And it's kind of like LTIR anyway.
Any way that we add anything new to the LTIR on top of what already exists is just going to mess with the system. I think if there's going to be anything that's really going to deter this sort of thing from happening, there has to be some sort of penalty where, for a guy like Reeves, for example, if he's suspended, the Leafs don't care that he's suspended. They could healthy scratch him 5 times and lose nothing. But maybe the Leafs are then forced to play with 17 skaters or something for a game or 2 or 3.
Right.
And then they'll actually lose the roster spot.
So they were with him without him for 5 games. So they beat Vegas 3-0, beat Utah 3-2, lost 5-1 to the Panthers, beat the Lightning 5-3, and then beat the Blackhawks 4-1 yesterday.
And without Austin Matthews.
And without Austin. I think he came back last night. That was the only game, right? So
you're telling me that Austin Matthews and Ryan Reaves are equally as valuable?
Same scale and things here. A couple of comments in the YouTube chat. McHigh and Dry said it just simply wouldn't work. It just gets too messy. I think he also said the hitter salary should be used to pay off the victims. Victims feels like such a strong
Yeah.
word. But I understand the context of what you were saying. Gord put something a little bit higher up in the chat too. That was similar and on the Reeves said just how it was a dirty hit and his comments were wrong. And he also mentioned oh, there it is, yeah. He's averaging 8 minutes a night, healthy scratched every other game.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.